SEO has changed more in the last 2 years than in the previous decade. And if you're trying to rank on Google right now, there is a chance you're already following advice that's completely outdated. I've spent the last 7 years obsessed with SEO. I've ranked sites for some of the most competitive keywords in their space, helped over 50 businesses get to page 1, and made pretty much every mistake you can make along the way. When I started working with B2B SaaS companies, I had clients coming to me with zero organic traffic, and within 6 months we had built content that was bringing in consistent qualified pipeline every single month. Not vanity metrics, actual demos booked. And in this video I'm going to give you everything I've learned, the strategies that actually move the needle, the ones that are a completely waste of time, and exactly what I would do differently if I was starting over today. Whether you're brand new to SEO or you've been doing this for years, this is going to save you a ton of trial and error. Before I get into the lessons, let me give you a bit of context. I was 22 years old, broke like every 22-year-old, right? And burning my student loan on an e-commerce hustle. No mentors, no plans, just hustle and hope. And I found SEO through dropshipping, and something immediately clicked. Like, I realized I didn't have to chase people and I could show up exactly when they were already searching for a product. That first product failed, but it planted a seed that never went away. And then fast forward, I started working at Oracle with sales, and I did a second attempt to e-commerce with nights and weekends grinding affiliate sites. And in early 2023, I went all in and co-founded Exceed with my former colleague at Oracle, Eddie. And 2 years later, we were working with big SaaS brands across 7 countries. Everything I'm sharing today is what I wish someone had told me from the start. The first big lesson I learned is that traffic is a vanity metric. And honestly, this one feels obvious in hindsight, but it took me longer than I'd like to admit to actually internalize it. I thought the whole game was traffic. More visitors, better SEO. That's literally how most people talk about it. We're generating 50K monthly visits. Cool. But what does that mean for the business? I spent months doing what I now call top-of-funnel SEO. I'd open a keyword tool, sort by search volume, and build the content around the biggest numbers I could find. Things like what is project management or best practices for remote team, like massive search volume. It kind of worked in a sense that traffic went up, but revenue, pipeline, demos booked, almost nothing. Then I had a realization that changed everything for me. People use search engines to find products, not just information. Think about your own buying process. Like, when was the last time you read an ultimate guide to any generic category before buying a software? That never happens, right? You probably got a recommendation, you Googled the recommended product versus a competitor, checked a few reviews, and then booked a demo. That's 3 commercial searches and 0 educational searches. And that's the case. Your buyers do the same thing. By the time someone is searching, they already know the category. Someone is not going to search for what is project management if they're looking for a project management tool. So the question isn't like, how do I get more traffic? It's more about, am I showing up when the right people are actually ready to buy? I shifted everything toward bottom of the funnel content. So comparison pages, alternative pages, specific use case content, the boring stuff that content teams skip because it doesn't feel like creative or thought leadershipy enough. The volume on those keywords, it's way lower. The conversion rates is dramatically higher. Here's an example. Like, a client of ours generated 1.8 thousand clicks from a single article in 6 months, and we never even targeted a keyword. We just followed what their sales team kept hearing in conversation and built something generally useful around it. That's lesson 1. Stop optimizing for traffic, start optimizing for the buying journey. The second lesson actually took me longer to learn, and I genuinely wish someone had told me this earlier. Most people think about SEO as finding like the clever trick, the loophole, the hack, the thing nobody else knows about yet. But after working with hundreds of sites, I realized it's actually doing the boring, consistent things really well over a long period of time. And look, I get the appeal. When I started, I was reading every forum, every case study, and the internet is full of this stuff. Like, I built 10,000 backlinks overnight and hit page 1 in 2 weeks. This one schema hack tripled my click-through rate. I reversed engineered Google's algorithm, and here's here's what nobody tells you. I tried so many of them, right? Expired domain networks, tiered link schemes, keyword stuffing with invisible text like private blog networks, keyword cannibalization fixes that were like more superstition than strategy. You know what moved the needle long term? Almost none of it. And the ones that did work didn't last. Google is not a big fan of giving away its users, right? That's literally its business. If you find a hole in the system, they will close it very fast. Here's the thing I eventually understood. Google's whole incentive is to keep people on the search results page. Google is actively working to answer questions without sending traffic to you, which means the only sustainable strategy is to build something Google wants to show. Not trick it, build it. And that means understanding your audience deeply enough that your content is generally the best answer to a specific question. It means building a brand that people actually search for by name because they encountered you somewhere during their research and you left an impression. We're seeing this with AI search now too, like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude. These tools are citing brands during research conversation. We've tracked this across multiple clients. As their AI visibility grows, so do their branded searches in Google Search Console. Someone discovers you in ChatGPT, asks a few follow-up questions, and then a few days later, Googles your brand name directly. But the principle is the same. You can't get cited if your positioning is vague. So lesson 2, the goal isn't to outsmart Google, it's to build something Google wants to show. But there's one more thing I want to share. This is actually the lesson that took me the longest to learn, and it's the one I see people get wrong most often. Because most people approach SEO like it's a single discipline. They're either content people, so they just publish articles, or they're technical SEO people obsessing over crawl budgets, or they're link builders who treat content as an afterthought. And you can make progress in one lane. That's not what I'm arguing against, but that's not how you win in the long run. Great content with no authority won't rank. Strong backlinks pointing to weak pages won't convert. A technical perfect site with nothing worth reading goes nowhere. The companies I've seen get real compounding results aren't doing anything fancy. They're just running the full machine consistently over time. If I was starting over today, knowing everything I know now, here's exactly what I would do. I would skip top of funnel content entirely in the early stages. I would never produce a what is X article again. I would go straight to bottom of the funnel and middle of the funnel. So high intent keywords, comparison pages, alternative pages, specific use case content, and content around problems your audience encounters. Content that speaks directly to someone who's already in the buying process and just needs to figure out which option is right for them. I'd talk to the sales team before writing a single word, not to be collaborative or politically savvy, but because they hold the actual customer and market intelligence, all the objections, the competitors, the why we keep losing to X. That's content gold. And I'd start building authority from day one, acquiring links, building a clear entity, have a consistent positioning across every platform, getting into the right comparison articles, making sure that when someone types my company name into ChatGPT, they get an accurate picture back. Now you've got 7 years of lessons, but the thing is, SEO is changing faster right now than at any point in those 7 years. Click this video right here because I break down exactly what's changing in 2026 and what you need to do about it. The stuff that worked even last year isn't going to cut it anymore. And this video will show you what to focus on instead. I'll see you there.